Ladies and gentlemen, we kind of had a false start on the video here, so we're going to start this over again. So what I need you to do is take a look. Our I can statement for today is I can write percents as decimals and vice versa. This is lesson 3. For the quick check, I want you to take a look. You can write each percent as a fraction in simplest form and each fraction as a percent. So I want you to take a look and at least do one of each, so that way you can make sure that you have this stuff down pat. All right, go ahead, pause the video now and go ahead and go through that. If you take a look, percent means out of 100. So 30% would be 30 over 100. Simplify that to 3/10. If I have 72 out of 100, and if you don't have a calculator with you, just think about your divisibility rules. If it ends in 0 or 5, then you can divide by 5. If both of them are multiples of 10, you can divide by 10. If they're both even, you can divide by 2. So if I would divide both of these by 2, I get 36 over 50. Notice they're both even again. I divide by 2, and I get 18 over 25, which is my simplest form. Now to write each fraction as a percent, we take a look at what we have, and if we can change it to 100, then we do that. Because we know we can multiply 10 to get to 100, so that's times 10. What we do to the bottom, we must do to the top. So I have 70 over 100, which is 70%. With 1/5, we multiply that times 20 to get to 100. So we have 20 over 100, or 20%. 21 over 25, we multiply times 4 to get 100. And we have 84 over 100, or 84%. Okay, our essential question is still, how do we use equivalent rates in the real world? As we go through the unit, we'll answer that question towards the end. Go ahead, turn over to the next page. Our key concept that we're going to focus on in here is to write a percent as a decimal, divide by 100, and remove the percent sign. This is the same thing as moving the decimal point 2 places to the left. Remember, when we multiply by 100, we move the decimal point 2 places to the right. Now we're going to divide by 100, which was moving it 2 places to the left. There really are 2 methods in order for you to change percents to decimals. The first method is to rewrite the percent as a fraction with a denominator over 100. And then, as we've talked about, place value matters. So right here, we have 56 hundredths, and as we say these two, they're equal. Or, if you take a look, we move the decimal point 2 places to the left. Now remember, if we don't see a decimal point, that means it's always between the percent sign and the last number. That's only if we don't see a decimal point. We move that decimal point 2 places to the left, and we get 56 hundredths. Okay? I'd like you to try example 2 right now on your own. Write the percent as a decimal. Pause the video right now and complete that, as well as example 3 on the top of the next page. All right, write the percent as a decimal. I do not see a decimal in here, so I'm going to put my percent, add my decimal in between the signs, then move it 2 places to the left. Remember, we're annexing or adding another 0, so that's where we go right here, and we get 8 hundredths. And you can't see that. Nice. Okay, 8 hundredths right there. All right. Example 3 on the top of the next page. I have 2%. 2%. Okay. No decimal in there right now. Put a decimal in between there, my percent sign and the last number, and move it 2 places to the left. Add my 0, and I have 0 and 2 hundredths. Now our vice versa. We're going to write it as our decimal as a percent. So we're going to multiply by 100 here and move it 2 places to the right and add our percent sign. As well as we can also write it as a fraction out of 100. And remember, percent means out of 100. And we go from there. Okay. Method 2 is to move the decimal point 2 places to the right. So if I have 38 hundredths and I move the decimal point 2 places to the right, I have 38%. 38%. Okay, let's take a look at example 5 on the next page. Example 5 is to write 2/10 as a percent. 2/10 as a percent. This one is a little bit tricky because we're going to be annexing a 0 on the right side, because you always have to move it 2 places no matter what. That's where my decimal goes. I have to fill in here with my 0 and then rewrite with my percent sign. Try example 6 on your own, please. Go. In example 6, the United States produces more corn than any other country, producing 0.4 or 4/10 of the total corn crops. Write 4/10 as a percent. So we take that decimal, move it 2 places to the right, add our 0, add our percent sign. All right. That's all that we have for this lesson. Make sure that you take your time, and if you have any questions, let us know. Thank you.